This year was certainly a record year for people buying out their auto leases as inventory levels are very, very low, supply shortages, etc. A lot of people have been buying out their leases. Cox Automotive estimates that about 70% of off-lease vehicles end up at the auction, and guess what? Lately, only half of those vehicles have been making it to auction because people have been buying up their auto leases. If you're considering buying out your auto lease, you want to watch this video so that I can give you some tips as far as what to expect and how to handle it. What is happening, guys? Ari here from Boston Automotive Consulting. And in the description below, you're going to find various resources so that you can shop around for a brand new car. You'll also be able to shop around for insurance rates, get your auto credit scores, as well as shop for an auto loan. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing because this whole channel is going to teach you everything you're going to need to know so that you can negotiate your best possible deal. So the facts are the facts, you guys. Your car is worth more than it was worth last year, and it's going to continue to be worth more than it was last year because there's major supply issues and there's major demand. Because more and more leased vehicles are getting purchased, that means that dealerships are going to have a harder time replenishing their used car inventory. That's only going to make the situation worse. What you want to do is that every single leased vehicle has a buyout amount that includes any purchase option fee, any overnight title fee, and any outstanding liabilities that you may owe. You want to get this number. You want to find out, say, from Toyota Financial Services, what your lease buyout amount is and compare it with the retail price of the car. How much are dealers selling this car for? You also want to compare what Carvana, Vroom, CarMax, companies such as these, what they're willing to buy the car for. If you're considering purchasing the car for yourself, or if you're considering selling to one of these companies, it's a good idea to know, are you paying less than market price or are you overpaying for the car? It's very, very good to know whether or not, okay, I need a car, but does it make sense to overpay for my current car, or am I getting a steal by buying out my lease? Definitely know the comparison between buyout and retail costs. You want to do your absolute best to work directly with the financial institution if at all possible. What I mean by this is a lot of people get the runaround and a lot of people have trouble getting the financial institutions to work with them directly. I know that people with Chrysler Capital typically get told you have to go to a Jeep dealership in order to handle the buyout, whereas, my dad bought his Toyota directly from Toyota Financial Services, cut them the check, and they sent him the documents so that he can register the car. You want to do as much of the process as possible with the financial institution because it's going to be the cheapest way to buy out your auto lease without any unnecessary fees. Next step is, you guys, any bank, such as Bank of America, your local bank, a credit union, they offer a product. They offer a loan called a lease buyout loan. This loan is typically actually less than the rate that you would get on a used car. It's typically about a percentage point higher than a new car auto loan. Check out your bank, see what they have to offer for a lease buyout, because what you can do is you can give them a purchase and sale agreement or, say, a payoff quote sheet from the manufacturer's bank, and you give it to them, they cut you a check, you send it to the financial institution, and they get the paperwork process going. They'll send out the title, etc., directly to your bank. Now, if the financial institution is forcing you to do the deal with the dealership, what you want to do is you want to call around as many dealerships as possible to ask who has the lowest dealer documentation and safety inspection fees. The reason why is because any dealership you go to is going to be capable of selling you your leased vehicle, but you want to go in there and pay the least amount possible by doing a lease buyout, even negotiating the doc fee if at all possible, going in there and saying, I'm willing to finance with your financial institution at the rate that, say, Bank of America typically offers, which, by the way, is usually within the threes, just on average. and getting them to waive the documentation fee. There's some states where you don't really need to worry all that much because it's only capped at $80 or $200, but then there's some states like Florida capping the fee at like $800 if I'm not mistaken. So you want to shop around to as many dealerships as possible, making sure that you're not overpaying on unnecessary fees. Now, if you're considering selling to a third party, here's where things get kind of muddy and murky. And lately, there have been a lot of different financial institutions really exercising the fact that they don't have to sell your leased car to a third party at the same price that they have it set as the residual to sell it to you or that financial institution's dealer. As in, let me give you a practical example. BMW on their payoff quotes lately has been putting this price is only good for the customer, not a third party. As in, the payoff that you have is not going to work the same if you try to go to CarMax, and CarMax has to call BMW and verify what their payoff quote would be. I'm really hoping you guys, all these tips try to get you ready for what to expect as far as, you might be tracking out inventory and, shortages and whatnot. And if you're considering purchasing your auto lease, I hope that this sort of primes you as far as what to expect. I want to encourage you to use the links in the description below so that you can shop around for the very best deal on your next brand new car. You'll also be able to check out insurance rates, get your auto credit scores, as well as shop for an auto loan. And if you found this information useful, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.